part of the Rippin podcast network. Join hosts Ben Rippin and Kevin Rips as they jump into the legacy of Kobe Bryant, from his jaw-dropping 60-point farewell game to his enduring Mamba Mentality. Ben and Kevin also do an in-depth exploration of the 1996 Topps Chrome release, a transformative moment in sports card history. With the introduction of shiny, innovative card designs, Topps Chrome set a new standard for collectors, becoming a benchmark for modern sports cards. So sit back and enjoy this episode of Cardboard Wars.
April 13th, 2016, we're in Los Angeles at the Staples Center. There's 18,997 fans holding their breath.
Kobe Bean Bryant steps to the free throw line. One final game. He's 37 years old. His knees are taped. His shoulders are frayed. Achilles long since ruptured. I remember this like it was it's actually still on my DVR, Ben. This game is still on my DVR.
It should be, because he scores 60 points, Kevin. 60. The most by any player in their final appearance ever. His average heart rate that night was 174 beats per minute, and he covered 4.6 miles on the court alone that evening.
At that age, after 20 seasons, it was scientifically improbable, Ben. But Kobe's story always defied probability. The guy always went past what was probable and always just found a way.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Cardboard Wars. I go by Ben Rippin online. I'm joined with my co-host tonight,
Kevin Rips.
We are diving in to the history of one of the greatest NBA players of all time. And of course, as we do, his rookie card, particularly one created by Topps in the Topps Chrome product. But before we go into the card, we got to understand the person and then the product. You all know how we do it. So Kevin, take us back to a good year, actually. A great year. The year I was born, 1978.
That's right. That was the best year. Happens to be the year I was born. Different city, though. Philadelphia, 1978. Joe Jelly Bean Bryant and Pamela Bryant welcomed their only son, Kobe. By 6, Kobe's no longer living in Philadelphia. He's living in Italy because, and I'm sure most of the listeners know this, Joe Jelly Bean Bryant himself was a professional basketball player, and by that time in his career had gone to Italy to play basketball. So Kobe's 6, he's living in Italy, absorbing a culture that would completely shape him and his game forever.
Italian basketball was a little different. They had smaller courts, a little slower pace, heavier balls. It was perfect for developing the skill of this future superstar. He also, Kobe, picked up a little soccer because it is Europe, so to speak. And that gave him a little bit of that extra skill, that body awareness that scientists say separates the good athletes from the great ones.
Let's fast forward, Lower Merion High School. It's 1996. Kobe averages 30.8 points a game, 12 rebounds, 6.5 assists, 4 steals. We're talking about the state champions here. Guy becomes Pennsylvania's all-time scoring leader.
And at 17, He's entering the 1996 NBA draft. Charlotte ends up taking him 13th, but traded him to LA for Vlad.
With the 13th pick in the 1996 NBA draft, the Charlotte Hornets select Kobe Bryant from Lower Merion High School in Pennsylvania.
A coming out party for the high school kid. Kobe Bryant, meeting with the approval of that Charlotte fan in attendance here.
The Charlotte Hornets have traded Kobe Bryant to the Lakers.
Good old Vlade. I love that guy. Listen, Ben, I must confess, I'm a lifelong Laker fan, and I like Vlade, but I'm thankful for him because he brought us Kobe by leaving us. Kobe told reporters that night, the Lakers are where I belong. The guy just absolutely knew he was going to be a Laker. Just his level of performance, everything about him, he was destined for Hollywood, man.
By 2000, there was this Kobe Shaq experiment where they went and they got 3 titles in 3 years.
That's what's wrong with that.
The Los Angeles Lakers have made it 3 straight NBA championships. They wrap it up in the 4-game sweep by beating the Nets 113 to 107.
Shaq, the force inside, Kobe, the fire outside, did something in the 2001 finals, Kevin.
Yeah, he averaged 25 points, 6 boards, 6 assists. That team, they were so dominant, Ben. It felt like they were playing a different game than the rest of the NBA. They were just so much better than everyone. It was like men playing against children.
It was game 4 of the 2000 finals. Shaq had fouled out. Kobe scores 8 straight points to win the entire game in overtime. And Phil Jackson, start quote, end quote, says that was the night that Kobe became the assassin.
Sorry, but off the court, man, there was conflict. Kobe's the guy that got up and trained at 5 a.m. Actually, I bet you he trained even earlier. Shaq might have gotten to the gym by noon. Shaq called Kobe selfish. Kobe called Shaq lazy.
The psychologists were kind of labeling this battle between these 2 alphas. They called it the dual alpha syndrome. 2 leaders, unfortunately, with 1 kingdom.
Still the results. 181 wins, only 65 losses over 3 seasons. I mean, they actually had a dynasty, man. They really did. Like that, they were just so dominant.
Until 2004, when Shaq moves to Miami, Phil quits, but Kobe stays. Kobe's alone, but he's determined that he could continue to win without Shaq, without Phil.
Yeah, that was part of that chip on his shoulder. But, you know, to go back a little bit before that, because I think so many things came into this. In 2003, there was a situation in Colorado, an accusation. That case collapsed, but it still left his image. And I think in a lot of ways, his relationships with his teammates in shambles.
Yeah, kind of an accusation around conduct with a female, if I remember correctly. Nike kind of retaliating from these accusations, and McDonald's freeze the contracts that they have with Kobe. Scores start to plummet. But Kobe had something kind of deep inside him.
He did. He had grit. Yeah, you know, I know you and I both have read this book. It's Angela Duckworth's Measure of Resilience. That was actually Kobe's superpower. The guy was just so gritty.
By the 2005-2006 season, he averaged 35.4 points per game, the second highest in modern NBA history. January 22nd, 2006, 81 points versus Toronto. He goes 28 for 46 in his shooting and 7 for 13 from the deep. Incredible.
Yeah, Steve Nash referred to that game as that wasn't a game. That was a message.
Hello. Kobe's here. The Lakers finish 45-37 for the season, but Kobe kind of proved that he was reborn. He said, if you see me fighting a bear, you better pray for the bear. 2008, this is when the Mamba mentality became defined.
Kobe Bryant!
There it is!
That is as good as it gets right there.
One of the NBA's all-time greats.
And the Black Mamba strikes again.
Mamba mentality is it's a way of life. It's not an attitude per se, but it's a way to live. We're just trying to get better every single day. It's not something where you live with like a bravado or anything like that. It's just the simplest form of just trying to get better at whatever it is that you're doing.
MVP season, 28.3 points average, 6.3 rebounds, 5.4 assists. He goes off and helps the USA to win the gold in Beijing, another symbol of his discipline.
I mean, you're talking about discipline. This guy takes 400 shots, like basketball shots, before breakfast, and then 400 after. The guy, he just used this repetition after repetition of whatever he was working on to just hardwire his muscle memory.
Dwayne Wade said that Kobe would text him at 3 a.m., workout, ? He just said, I finally just stopped answering.
That's so funny. 2009, by the way, right after 2009, 2010, what happens? Kobe gets 2 more rings against Orlando and Boston. And I think this is the thing that drove him the most, Ben. He said, I just got 1 more than Shaq. You can take that to the bank. That was a big driver for him, dude.
I got 1 more ring than the lazy Shaq. But his fuel was pain. He'd break a finger, no problem. He simply just retrained himself to shoot a different way.
Ben, I saw this guy shoot left-handed in a game when his right hand was hurt. I've seen him get his dislocated finger relocated right there on the court by the team trainer. And what this guy, it's crazy. Like he used pain. I think you said he used pain as fuel. He genuinely did that. Just absolutely mind-blowing.
He was a biomechanical machine, and he was driven, as Kevin said, by grit, by human will, and perfected by repetition and discipline. But in 2013, April 12th, he tore his Achilles. He walks to the line with a torn Achilles, Kevin, and still sinks 2 more free throws.
More since then, though, 0 for 6. As he has it, spinning, in trouble. Oh, and he's limping, he's hurt. Kobe's hurt. And I don't know if he's going to be able to continue. Warriors are out of hurting, but the Lakers down by 2, and they want him and need him at the free throw line. Got it.
Yeah, not backpedaling or whatever you have to do to get to the other end. If, in fact, he gets to the other end before a foul, maybe.
Made him. Lakers might foul. They might foul to get him out of the game. That's
they have to.
Yeah. So Kobe Bryant cannot continue.
First of all, so many players don't even return from that injury. He did it in 8 months. But let's go back to that moment on the court. He got injured, ruptured the Achilles or tore the Achilles, whatever the proper term is. walked to the free throw line, shot the free throws. Now, any basketball fan who's watched a lot of games can think of players. I'm going to just throw them under the bus. Paul Pierce. Most guys, when they rupture or tear their Achilles, they literally leave the court in a wheelchair. Kobe was not about to let you see him in pain. He was not about to let anybody think that the pain or the injury had defeated him. And so he walked off the court. Like that's who that guy was. Talk about will, talk about grit.
I need a little bit more Kobe's in my life. I'm surrounded by people that need mental health days when their dog has an accident on the carpet or when they, get a little ding on their finger. Like, the world's getting a little bit weak, ladies and gentlemen. We need a little bit more Kobe. A little bit more Kobe. The doctors said that literally Kobe just beats biology. He had 5.2% body fat, for instance, and he recovers from these types of major injuries. But that wasn't his only injury.
So many, like the knee, the shoulder, but the guy just kept playing. Phil Jackson, who by the way coached him multiple times, he ended up coming back after he'd stepped down. He said about Kobe, he had a warrior's pain threshold.
Yeah, his biological response to stress, his ability to manage it was just off the charts, with really no scientific explanation for that ability.
To say there's no scientific explanation would absolutely be the truth. To go back to where we started this episode, Ben, that final game when he hit 60 points, again, the highest retirement game ever. You couldn't write a script. There's a little story that Kobe told a few times before his death of like Shaq had said to him that night, like, go get 50. And Kobe was like, absolutely not. I'm not promising that. But you know damn well Shaq put that in his head. And so he didn't get 50. He got 60 because that's who Kobe was, like just determined as the most determined person ever. Here's the deal, though. He has that 60-point game. He quote unquote retires. He retires from basketball, yeah, but like Kobe's not. He wasn't the guy to retire, right? He starts building studios he's producing podcasts, movies, writing books. He wrote the book Mamba Mentality and Dear Basketball. The guy even won an Oscar, Ben.
Yeah, first for his best animated short, first time an athlete had ever won an Oscar.
And the Oscar goes to, don't say La La Land, don't say La La Land. Dear Basketball, Glenn Keane and Kobe!
This is the first Oscar and nomination for Glenn Keane and Kobe Bryant.
I think one of his other moves that I know that you could appreciate, he invested $6 million into body armor very early on. And, he wasn't around for the buyout. He'd already passed. But by 2021, when Coca-Cola bought Body Armor, his stake in the company that his wife Vanessa, is in control of, was valued at over $400 million.
Pretty incredible. It's a good return. That's better than one of our stock picks, Kevin. I know because I've given you some.
Yeah.
He's coaching his daughter's team. He's helping other youth players. He is tracking different shot zones in Excel. Truly the best of the best.
That's just who he was. He had a quote, you can't stop until you master the detail. The guy every detail mattered to him.
Right before COVID gets into full swing, I remember this well, January 26, 2020, flying from Orange County to Thousand Oaks, his helicopter crashes with 9 souls aboard. Kobe Bryant, his daughter Gianna, 7 others, all en route to a tournament in heavy fog Supposed to be flying by visual flight rules. The pilot loses visibility at 9:45 a.m. Radar shows a climb to 2,300 feet and then a rapid descent. Impact on a hillside at probably greater than 185 miles per hour.
Yeah, the reports all showed there was actually no mechanical failure. It was pilot error. Spatial disorientation, I think is what they call it. Self-induced pressure to complete the flight.
Autopsies said there was immediate death. There was no drugs, no alcohol, just a human decision met up with physics and weather.
The world stopped that day. I know it did for me. I remember exactly where I was. The whole city of LA, just murals, seemed like overnight. There's something like, I don't know what the actual current count is, but there was something like over 600 murals that popped up very quickly, within a year. All the teams, every arena held a 24 seconds, Kobe's number, of silence as an ode, kind of a tip of the hat to him.
His bride later secured a settlement for a little over $28 million because of the unauthorized photo leaks. Justice may be served there, but intertwined with grief.
For sure. I remember watching the memorial, if you will, funeral at the Staples Center, watching Michael Jordan give his speech. He said, when Kobe died, a piece of me died too. LeBron said he never cheated the game. Diana Taurasi, WNBA great, said he taught us how to love the work.
Just that type of human that even in his death, he educated a generation on excellence. I'm still, Kevin, you catch me scrolling the reels in the middle of the night, watching old plays of Kobe. And man, he is just so good. It makes you such appreciate a true master of the sport.
Yeah. I mean, I could go on about that. One of the cool things is the Mamba and Mambacita Foundation, founded by Vanessa Bryant, supports like youth sports and equality, making sure that girls have the opportunity to play all the sports that they want to be able to play. It's, it's funny, Ben. Kobe was always my favorite player from the time I knew his name. On draft night, the Lakers traded for him. I felt a connection to him. And as much as he did on the court, I always thought this guy's actually, when he retired, I thought actually now he's going to really make his mark.
Nike ended up re-signing a lifetime deal with his estate to re-release his new Bryant sneakers. In fact, I just picked up a pair of Kobe 6 sneakers, the Caitlin Clark edition, the other day, actually. His jersey sales spiked some massive percent, Kevin.
Yeah, something like 900% in the 48 hours after his death. That's wild.
Economists estimated his total brand value over $1 billion after death.
Sports psychologists now teach the Mamba Mentality, an MBA in sports programs, as a leadership model for focus and intrinsic motivation. I mean, heck, Ben, you can't see it, but right next to me, I've got a picture of Kobe. It says Black Mamba, and it's got one of his Mamba Mentality quotes right there. I mean, it's everywhere.
People got murals, tattoos, films, scholarships carry his name. And at Crypto Arena, his statue unveiled in 2024 stands at 19 feet tall in bronze with Gianna's jersey draped around his arm.
Not as a player frozen in time. Kobe's become a philosophy, the Mamba mentality that's actually still alive in millions and millions of people.
5 NBA titles, 2 finals MVPs, 1 league MVP, 18 all-star selections. Listen to this, Kevin. 33,643 points, the 4th ranked in all NBA history.
But the stats don't even tell why he matters.
Yeah, it's his commitment to self-improvement, that every rep is a test.
Yeah, he had this saying, it still echoes today: rest at the end, not in the middle.
I think you're going to end up seeing that the Mamba didn't retire. It actually is a small part of a whole lot of other players still playing today. There's a great LeBron James card where he's doing a dunk that truly, in my mind, is the Kobe dunk. And you see that show up in so many different players. I remember, Kevin, one of my kind of fond memories was roaming the National Card Show in Chicago with you, and you had one goal that week. Do you remember what it was?
Absolutely. I was not leaving Chicago without an autographed Kobe Bryant card. I didn't care what it took, what deal I had to make. I told you I'm not leaving Chicago without buying a Kobe auto.
So Kevin and I got on feetfinder.com and we started selling feet picks. We were willing to do whatever it. No, I'm just kidding. We found an incredible card. I still see it. I have a little bit of card envy. I will own that same card one day. It's an incredible card, and I am a true Kobe collector as well, as you can see on my Instagram at Ben Rippin with a G at the end on Instagram. Love a follow, by the way, if you're listening to the podcast, and Kevin Rips as well on Instagram. We've dove deep into Kobe Bryant, and you hear all this information, you know why. He was a legend. But Kevin, let's dive kind of back to the end of the junk wax era. It's mid-1990s. The basketball card world was changing. It was changing fast. Collectors were a little burned because of what happened during those junk wax era. The old paper and insert stick of gum days were gone, and there were new things starting to show up, like autographs and refractors and serial numbers.
Yeah, and Topps was the brand. They were legends. They were the kings of cardboard. By the time, Jordan was winning championships in Chicago, even though they'd been on top for so long, they got to the point where they were actually starting to fight for relevance.
And this is kind of a little piece of our episode today, is a story about how Topps bet everything on a shiny new idea, a technology that would redefine modern basketball cards, in something that I'm patiently waiting for the 2025 version to be released, which will show some of the first ever licensed cards of some of my favorite players who weren't playing, back when Topps still had the license. This is a story of what, Kevin?
Yeah, this is Topps Chrome. This is actually Topps Chrome versus Topps, how a 40-plus-year-old brand reinvented itself for this generation of glossy. Like the card needed some shine. It needed a facelift, and Topps said, "Okay, here we are. Let's do it."
1992, the basketball card boom is in full swing. You and I are flipping through our binders that ruin most of the cards we own. That were filled with Fleer, Skybox, Upper Deck. Upper Deck had been kind of changing the game because they did something at a different level than Fleer and everybody else.
Yeah, they did. You said change the game. They literally changed the game. They started using this glossy paper, and we talked about this on a previous episode, like the anti-counterfeit holograms. The photography just felt like a premium product, and it made Topps look kind of dated.
Exactly. Topps was the old guard. Their cards still felt like the ones that your dad would collect. Nostalgic, of course, but they weren't sexy. They weren't exciting.
They weren't. I mean, we get further into the 90s, as you mentioned, collectors were effectively demanding innovation. Fleer had the flair. Skybox had the metallized cards. Upper Deck had SP, the kind of cards that you'd protect with 2 sleeves and a magnetic case. Like the cards were, they're fancy.
Yeah. And Topps was losing market share. Reputation was going down. They weren't cutting edge. They had to do something about it. So in 1996, Topps rolls out a bold experiment called Topps Chrome.
Ben, let's be clear though. This wasn't just Topps, but shiny. Chrome used a new printing process on a different plastic stock. It was slick. It was reflective, heavier in your hand.
It was the kind of cards that you took a little bit of extra time, you showed off. They looked good underneath the lights. They looked good in the card shop display. They looked good on the wall in our little framed cases that we screwed the cards down with.
Yeah, it was. The thing is that it wasn't a guaranteed hit though. I mean, and to print these cards on this chrome stock was expensive. It was expensive to produce. Cassette checklist mirrored that of the Topps, like the base top set. And it left a lot of collectors wondering why am I paying more for what seemingly is the same set of players?
And that question would literally soon be answered by a rookie who came out the same year that Topps Chrome released, who we've spent the last 30 minutes talking about because it was Kobe Bryant's rookie year, 1996 to 1997, when the Topps Chrome product first released.
Yeah, he changed everything. Topps released his standard rookie card in that brown, almost like sepia tone design, simple, kind of flat, very classic Topps. But that Topps Chrome version was electric. It was metallic. That photo popped. And then then there was that refractor parallel with that rainbow sheen that collectors, they just couldn't get enough of it.
That refractor, by the way, super hard to hit, wasn't guaranteed, hard to find them. There was one card that would end up selling for literally millions of dollars. The 1996 Topps Chrome Refractor, the best of the best.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it became the definition of modern basketball cards with the scarcity, the shine, the status, kind of all rolled into one card.
It was a kind of a new luxury sports card, so to speak.
That's a good way to put it, luxury. What's fascinating, though, is what I think is how strategic that moves was. Topps, they weren't necessarily just chasing a trend. They were repositioning their brand.
And it worked. Chrome sold out. Demand surged. Suddenly, us collectors, the nerd herd, as I like to call us, we had to have both. We had to have the base, we had to have the Chrome, and we had to have the refractor, just like as they rolled out Chrome for football, right? The 2000 Chrome with Tom Brady. I got to have the base. I got to have the Chrome. I got to have the refractor. We did a whole podcast on that.
Yeah, and the fact that they did that, I'm kind of laughing at us, Ben, because here it is. It's you and I recording this, and it's late 2025. we're still doing that, man. We're still like, give me the base, give me the chrome, give me the refractor. Like we're chasing it all, right? It still defines in a lot of ways tops even today in 2025.
And now Tops expands to chrome, goes multi-sport, and even outside of the sport. After basketball and baseball, Tops rolled chrome into football and even into other niche sports like fighting, for instance. And now even Disney and the Disney Chrome product, or Star Wars as an example.
Yeah. And, going back to when it first came out, that basketball chrome only ran through 2008. That's when Panini had taken over the NBA licensing. But those early years, that established chrome as an icon in card collecting.
Yeah, it's kind of a good note to inexperienced collectors that are just getting into things. You can go out there and pull some of these rookie cards for some of your favorite players, and you feel like you're getting a good deal, only to realize that the card isn't licensed. So pay particular attention to who has the license to show the NBA logo or the team logos, the jerseys, etc., in what year, and strive to get that licensed rookie product. Not that I don't collect unlicensed rookies, I do, but they're just probably never going to be worth as much as the licensed product, which kind of brings us all the way into 2025, because Topps, as of the fall, has reclaimed the NBA license. And they just released the Topps 2025 basketball product, the first licensed basketball product created by Topps in, I can't do math, what is that, 15 years or 20 years or whatever that math ends up being, Kevin.
Yeah, don't do math in public, Ben. That's a policy I have.
I also don't do push-ups in public or run in public. I actually don't run in private either. But soon, I think within weeks, they're releasing the 2025 Topps Chrome basketball product, which I'm jacked for, and I will find a way to get some boxes and boxes of that. Looking for my future Cooper Flag rookie autos in Chrome, which I'm jacked about, and I think you pulled the other day. I'm jealous of.
Yeah, I was pretty jacked with that Cooper Flag pull the other night that I had. The thing is, Topps had to evolve, right? And I think the Topps brand is like very nostalgic, but with Chrome, it really, and not just in my mind, it's modern prestige. They are now like the present and the future is really what it is.
Yeah, 30 years later, Topps Chromes remains still a benchmark product in baseball and now basketball. And next year, when they claim the NFL license, also for football, we're still out there chasing the refractors and the autos and the parallels and the numbered parallels and the one by one, one of ones. By the way, I hit a one of one Cade Cunningham last Friday night out of the new Topps product, which is pretty awesome because that's the first one of one licensed Topps Cade Cunningham card, because he was a rookie after they lost the license. So that we haven't seen that. So that was cool for me. But now, Kevin, let's talk about the card a little bit. You know, there's two cards to pay attention to in 1996 Topps Chrome. There's the Topps Chrome Rookie, which you might call base, because of the way the card was printed, and so often these cards were displayed or put in card shops. There was a lot of greening of these cards. So when you actually look at the card, it has like this glimmer of green. He almost looks a little bit like an alien. And the less green the card is, the better value. Even though a very green card could still be a PSA 10, you're going to strive to find cards that are less colored. In that product, numbered the same, is the refractor, which you'll know if you shift that left and right in the light a little bit. A huge card. when you think about the Kobe Bryant base card in Chrome, there was 839 PSA 10s, 4,222 9s, 1,321 8s, 323 7s, 94 6s, 27 5s, 12 4s, 2 3s, 0 2s, 2 1s, and 1 auth. But in the refractor, in a 10, only 63. So 839 base refractors in a PSA 10, only 63 refractors in a 10. In a 9, 288 compared to 4,222. You kind of see the really big difference. And then when you look at sales, the refractor this year, last week or a week and a half ago, when we're recording this, there was a refractor PSA 10 that sold for $117,000 at auction. But in 2021, there was a PSA 10 black label pristine, not PSA, BGS, pristine black label, one of just 2 examples, sold for $1.75 million. In 2022, August of 22, there was another BGS pristine sold for $795. You hear the story. PSA in 2021, PSA 10 sold for $500,000. So you can see the market's gone down from the hype and the craziness that happened during the COVID years, but still enormously valuable. If you compare though the refractor, which I just said sold for $117,000, to the base, there's one just sold October 24th for $7,625 in a PSA Gem Mint 10. You could see the variability of these values, Kevin. I just want to wrap up with some quotes, either about Kobe or from Kobe. What would you choose, Kevin?
There's so many quotes from Kobe. One of my favorites is, "I can't relate to lazy people. We don't speak the same language. I don't understand you. I don't want to understand you."
I'm going to take a different angle. I'm going to talk about family and fatherhood. Kobe said that if he could have 5 more girls, he sure would. He says, "I'm a girl dad." He said sports are important, but family is everything. And that being a father is the thing that he's most proud of. Nothing else even comes close. He said, love your family, love what you do, and love yourself. That is the formula, ladies and gentlemen. When you think about what others said about him, Kevin, Michael Jordan said, Kobe gave every ounce of himself to whatever he was doing on the court, as a father, as a husband, as a businessman. That's what made him special. He wanted to be great, Jordan said, and he wasn't afraid to work for it. He worked harder than anyone else that Jordan knew. And even with all the Shaq and Kobe arguing and 2 kings and 1 castle, Shaquille still said he was the best teammate that he ever had and one of the most driven people that he'd ever met.
I'm not going to try to do this quote service because it's more than just a line or 2. I'm going to encourage the listener, after you're done with this episode, to go find the YouTube clip of Shaq speaking at Kobe's memorial service. He tells a little story about Kobe. It's one of my favorites. It's a young Kobe, and all of his teammates they want him to pass the ball. That's the story. And the reality is, it's a fun story, and I don't want to steal it from you. Go YouTube that after you're done listening to this episode. Shaq at Kobe's memorial service. You hear that little story in Shaq's speech. Number one, it's touching, but just that fun little story about Kobe saying there might not be there's no I in team, but there's definitely an ME in that mother.
Man, guys, you know, it's I can't believe how fast 20 years went by. I mean, this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. And you know, to be standing here at center court with you guys, my teammates behind me, and appreciating all this, you know, the journey that we've been on. You know, we've been through our ups and been through our downs. And I think the most important part is that we all stayed together throughout. And I'm more proud of the fact that, not about the championships, but about the down years. Because we didn't run. We didn't run. We played through all that stuff, and we got our championships, and we did it the right way. All I can do here is just thank you guys. Thank you guys for all the years of support. Thank you guys for all the motivation. Thank you for all the inspiration. You guys will always be in my heart. And I sincerely, sincerely appreciate it. No words can describe how I feel about you guys. And I love you guys. And my family, to my family, my wife Vanessa, our daughters Natalia and Gianna, you know, thank you guys for all your sacrifice. You know, for all the hours I spent in the gym working and training. And Vanessa, you holding down the family the way that you have. I can't, there's no way that I can thank you enough for that. So, yeah, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. And what can I say? Mamba out.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sports Cards is about preserving history. It's not about flipping cards to make a couple extra bucks. It's about preserving the history of some of the greatest humans, men and women, who are so committed to whatever sport they choose. And our podcast, Cardboard Wars, is about honoring those people and the cards they end up on, and educating other collectors, nerds, fellow friends, and followers of our podcast about the best of the best. Do us a favor. It would mean the world to Kevin and I if you made it this far in the episode to please, please, please write us a review, share this podcast, post about it on social media. If you get this far and you do that, tag Kevin Rips on Instagram. Do me a favor, tag Ben Rippin, and we might just send you some swag, a card stand, and some other cool stuff. Appreciate you all for listening. Cardboard Wars, we're done today.
Thanks for listening to Cardboard Wars on the Rippin Podcast Network. Don't forget to leave a rating and review, and check out rippin.com to get connected to what we have coming up. Find us on Instagram at Ben Ripping and Kevin Rips, and let us know what you would like to hear about on a future episode of Cardboard Wars. Until next time, keep ripping.